Hello, David Paul here. A quickie on progress today. Done quite a lot today. What's this about? This is about the new base for my tent. It's a base for my tent, but in a sense it's also a bed. A couple of years ago I had a pallet system rigged up to make a bed inside the tent. And what that did is it raised me off the ground, which is great. But unfortunately it meant that I was using up space in the tent, so the top of the tent was closer to my face, and it led to a very claustrophobic sort of feeling. So I've come up with this idea of what to do is to build a platform out of pallets. This is about 1.5 pallet width. Build a platform and then put the tent on top, so you're actually lying on the pallets, but they're under the tent, so you don't get that loss of height business. Now, lots of rubbish here still. It's just accumulating and accumulating. I need to have a good old bonfire and get rid of all this horrible plastic, because I don't want to turn it in, because it just ends up in landfill. I'll incinerate it. So anyway, getting back to the subject, I've got some long beams here donated to me by a wood yard. They're just sort of leftover support beams on deliveries of some sort. So there's 3 of them in there, and 1 over there, 2 here, 1 there, and I'll put a cross beam under each of the ends to ensure that they're perfectly level. And I've got a laser level which I will use to level the entire thing and get it perfect. Then I will put my tent on it. Whether I'll get this done tonight or not, I don't know. I'm going to the pub for lunch. A late lunch, afternoon meal. Not quite supper. I don't know what you'd call that. Lunch upper. Something like that. So that tent is going to get moved to here. I was going to have the entrance to the tent here facing the fire, but I get a lot of bother from that fire, from smoke, and I just think that's a non-starter. So the entrance to the tent will be over there, and somehow I'm going to have to squeeze past it to get round to. That's going to be a problem. To get round to the other side here, I'm going to have to clear vegetation from over there, I think, and put a tiny little side path in. Not something I want to do. I want as much vegetation around as I can. The climbing plants are growing nicely. They're sort of thing that's got loose out of gardens or something. They don't belong here. They're Russian vines, but never mind. There they are. And they're climbing nicely. So they will repopulate that area there, and also create a sort of arch over here. That is for sure. It's just what they do, you know. Especially if I string a piece of string across. And then it should become quite a lot more enclosed. I'm toying with the idea of, maybe it's a stupid idea, I don't know. But this tiny little area here where I cook, this barbecue kind of cooking area type thing, I'll have a good clear up here. And I'm toying with the idea of having some flowers here. Because if I'm being left alone as much as I think I'm going to be, then might as well just please myself, you know. So we'll see. I don't envisage actually spending much of the summertime in the UK, because the money's not here. The work is not here in the summertime, so I can't see it. That probably will never happen. But I just never get to see a flower, you know. Maybe one hanging basket, just to look at, something to make the place pretty while I'm lying in bed. I can look at the flowers. And just let it die over the winter, and then renew it next season if I come back. We'll see about that. My trees, I've continued defoliating them, because they've got leaves that are dying, and they've got to get rid of them. But they are showing signs of green growth here. The buds are coming through. I'm watering them as much as I can. As much as I can hold the water, I'm watering them, and they're going to do okay. Especially, and what is really important, is to get that tent in here, because as a result of bringing the tent in here, I'll be casting a lot of shade. which will take the direct sunlight off these plants at the back here and really make their life a lot easier. Because these are trees which can grow in the shade as well as the full sunlight. And at the minute, at this stage of their life, I think they need a break. They just need to have an easier time. In fact, these guys will probably prosper more after the peak of the summer has gone by. And it's autumnal, you know, or in the spring even, you know. It's just too much in the summer. They really need to get the roots really, really far down in order to get enough water. So I have to be careful about watering them as well. We don't water them too much. They've got to learn to drive their roots downwards. So I soak the water in slowly so it drains down and creates a path to lead the roots downwards. And that's it. So next phase, I think, is big cleanup, big tidy up of the site, and get ready for the tent. Put the tent in and then then that's it, I'm done. All I have to do is maintain my little trees and live. And then start packing and preparing for Portugal. Get all my stuff together. This bag here, this has been chewed to hell by rats. And I'm not going to buy a new one. I'm gonna just tape it up with duct tape. Because I need that to transport stuff to Portugal, one-way trip stuff, which I'll explain when I get to Portugal. So much scope here for development, you know. I would like to start a tiny house village, you know, but that's not going to happen, you know, because planning laws and this, that and the other. But it would be great to be able to do these things, you know, especially the way I'm doing it, which is to integrate with nature and actually enhance nature. You know, I'd have a place where we had lots of owl boxes and bird boxes and trees and ground cover and this and that and the other. I mean, so much you could, in such a way that, you know, there's so much opportunity to participate with nature instead of having to basically blitz it and eliminate it and have these sterile housing estates. I hope one day to be able to build an entire invisible estate out of trees. My ideas are getting more and more refined in that issue, and I think it's going to be possible when I get to Portugal, when I get my permit, I get my visa. I had to fill in a visa form which asks me why I want to go to Portugal. If I tell them, they'll think I'm crazy. Some of the ideas I've got, I'll have to I don't know, just say a holiday resort or something like that. Something more tame sounding. So that's it. Jesus be with you.